We are
Nastasia Filippo,
Lorenzo Alberti,
Francesco Ricci,
Martin Balaban,
and this is
Kunst and all.
Today's guest is Owen Belton, a Vancouver-based composer who has been creating music for dance for over 30 years and sound design and scores for theatre and film for the past 17. He graduated from Simon Fraser University in 1993 with a degree in Fine and Performing Arts, focusing on both acoustic and computer music composition. Over his career, Owen has composed for some of the world's top dance companies, including the Paris Opera Ballet, Ballet Nuremberg, Netherlands Dance Theatre, the National Ballet of Canada, and Kid Pivot. His work on Emergence for the National Ballet of Canada earned him a Dora Maeve Moore Award for the Best Dance Score, and he was also nominated for Angel's Atlas with the same company. In addition to his dance work, Owen has been nominated 4 times for Vancouver's Jessie Awards for his outstanding sound design and theatre. Owen, welcome to Kunst and all.
So welcome back everyone to a new episode of Kunst and all. This episode is going to be in collaboration with the Staatsballett Hannover. Today's guest is Owen Belton, the composer of the Goldberg Evening that we're currently performing in Hanover. So welcome, Owen. We're super excited to have you on the podcast.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Hi, Franci. Hi, Martin.
hello.
Hello.
Right, so let me start by asking, you're a very well-renowned composer. You compose for dance pieces. You've worked with so many people. You've won an award in 2009 for the piece Emergence, if I'm not mistaken. So you really know your craft. I would like to know what brought you here. How did you start?
Okay, so I guess I started the path in university, which is a while ago now. So back in the early 90s. I had been in, actually even the late 80s. I'd been started in computer science, and I was like, my career course I thought was going to be into computer programming, maybe designing computer games. That was kind of my interest coming into university. But I was starting to play in a band at the same time, so I was also very into music. And I found the computer science course and some of the other courses like calculus that I was taking super dry. So I took a year off, and then when I came back, I decided just to switch majors, and I did a major in fine and performing arts with a concentration in music, which at the university I went to, you couldn't do a full music degree. The music program at SFU is pretty diverse, like a little unusual, I think. So I did I think 5 acoustic composition courses. So I created 5 short pieces for different ensembles, small ensembles. And then there was electroacoustic music composition, computer music composition, and also they had a gamelan ensemble. So I wrote some music for that in my 3rd course. So it was very diverse and gave me a lot of different background, I guess. This proved to be valuable in my composing career.
Amazing.
That sounds great.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting.
Wow. I mean, so this was in the early 90s.
Yeah, early 90s.
After graduating with such a degree, what are the next steps? Have you built contacts already, and then you kind of compose for people? How did you manage to, become a composer for choreographers such as Crystal Pite or Goyo?
Yeah, it's a good question, and because theoretically, I think my parents were worried that this was a very risky kind of career path. And I think I still was hoping maybe I could be successful in a rock band while I was working full time as a printer, or in a print shop anyway. So that's what I did for 7 years, 7 or 8 years, while I was trying to do more stuff in music. And I also after a few years after graduating, I did a film sound course that I thought maybe I could get into film sound editing, that kind of thing. But that didn't really work out. Wow. But anyway, how I kind of got into composing for dance was a bit lucky. My girlfriend, when I was graduating from university that I met at university, her cousin was Crystal Pite, or is Crystal Pite. So she came to see one of the bands I was playing in, I think. And then we got to talking, and she found out that I studied composition at university. And she asked to hear some of the music I created. And I think one of the computer music compositions I did, she really liked, and she wanted me to try and rework it for like a piece she was doing for, I think, the Alberta Ballet. And yeah, that's kind of how I started working with Crystal. And it was very slow, like, because she was still, her main focus was as a ballet dancer with Ballet BC at the time.
Right.
And then she, I think in 1997, she went to Ballet Frankfurt. And yeah, for 5 years there, that was still her main focus, was dancing. But she was starting to do a bit more choreography over those years. And so we did a few like shorter pieces, one slightly longer one for Ballet BC in 1997. And then when she stopped dancing with Ballet Frankfurt, she started to focus on choreography, and that's when I started to do quite a bit more work with her, and that at that point maybe it seemed more feasible that there was a possible career writing music for
Wow.
dance and other things. But yeah, still very lean times for quite a while after that even.
So it really isn't like a straightforward path.
No. So yeah, I did other things like recording engineering. So I recorded music for other people. And then I think in 97, somebody approached me, or no, 2007, somebody approached me to do sound design for theater. So from there, I started to do more work for theater, mostly in Vancouver, where I live. And gradually more choreographers approached me, or I approached, in some cases, I was approaching choreographers in Canada. Slowly built up more and more work in dance and in theater, and eventually some film work too. So yeah, it was a slow process. It wasn't until maybe 2014, 2015 that I finally was, making like a decent living as a composer. So it took a long
Wow.
time, and there was lots of doubts about it. But yeah, it was a path.
No, what I was interested, I wanted to ask, since you have different backgrounds and you compose music also for film, you mentioned, no?
Yeah.
What do you think is composing for dance? How that differ from composing, for example, for film, for theater, or concert music? What do you think? Where is the difference there?
I think compared to writing music for theater and film, yeah, it feels very different. Like, because usually the music is pretty upfront in dance, whereas in film and theater, tends to be much more background. Yeah, and just the style of music I do is often quite different from one medium to the other. Yeah, like with theater, I've had to like be more flexible and like probably go outside of my comfort zone quite often. Whereas in dance, I guess because I've had more experience with it, and choreographers usually tend to like my style. I can be more in my zone. Yeah. Generally, and I enjoy working with dance the most, but certainly other projects in theater and film have been interesting and enjoyable as well. And I haven't really done any concert music. So yeah, that's one thing I would like to do down the road, is like music just for music itself. But yeah, haven't really done any.
Hopefully soon.
Can we dive a deeper into your creative process? Like, how does it work? Like, can you describe your workspace? Are you someone that eventually experiments with sound design early? Or do you begin more traditionally at the piano or a desk or any other instrument? If you can talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Yeah, I would say generally, like my workspace it's centered around a computer with audio interface with microphones and keyboard and other sample stuff plugged into the interface. But yeah, I do like a fair amount of work just on the computer itself, like processing sounds, and yeah, that's like I use a technique often called granular synthesis, which kind of like breaks up short samples into many different grains of sound and kind of produces like you can kind of create atmospheres and stretch out sounds, and that's been a little bit of a signature in my composing style for dance particularly. But yeah, sometimes I'll start with the piano or keyboard and play the guitar. So yeah, some I think Goldberg has some electric guitar in it, plus acoustic.
Yes.
Yeah, so guitar was kind of my main instrument growing up. But yeah, I can play the keyboard enough to work that into my compositions, and I have a cello which I can kind of play as well. But yeah, I wouldn't say I'm a cellist.
Also, do you use like everyday like random sounds? Do you incorporate it into your compositions?
Yes, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Like I don't know. Yeah, lots of random sounds I've used over the years. Yeah, for sure. Like a lot of weather and natural sounds. Like especially working with Crystal, she definitely likes to have the natural world. Definitely a lot of voice, like breathing, and like just kind of taking little chunks of a sung piece of sung music or speaking,
Hmm.
and just kind of working with that and sometimes making loops out of things. Yeah, a lot of loops I've used over the years, like just out of weird things that kind of just randomly, luckily happen, and it turns into something special sometimes.
That's beautiful.
I have a question concerning that exactly. It's a bit philosophical, maybe, but what do you think is the difference between making music to listen and music to move to?
Okay,
So,
yeah, go ahead.
you know what I mean? It's like you as a composer, especially if you compose for dance, you know you're gonna make music specific for people to move on it, compose something on it. But if you would make music just to listen, would you make the same music, or you would approach it different?
I think I would probably, yeah, potentially approach it differently. Like for sure, when I'm working with dance, I have in mind at some point, at least, it needs to have some rhythm and energy that will make dancers want to move and choreographers want to be inspired to work with it. But often, like there's like certain passages that are more atmospheric. I don't know. I haven't done that much composing of music for music's sake itself, having not really done any concert music. So it's a little hard to answer that for sure. Like how I would approach it, but I think there would be like a slightly different mindset anyway.
Do you think that like composing for dancing gives you like a sort of structure, like boundaries to work within?
Yes,
Do you like having these boundaries?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's good to have like certain boundaries just to kind of give you some focus. Like otherwise, yeah, it can be like a little overwhelming. Like knowing you have no boundaries, you can do anything. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
hard to know where to start or where to go. So yeah, sometimes it's having the structure of a choreographer, for example, telling you, yeah, giving you some boundaries to work within and guidelines. Yeah, definitely can be totally helpful to get moving.
We as dancers, we totally agree. Like for us, I think it's very similar.
Yeah.
In that, how has your approach to composing changed over the years? From from just playing in a band and like loving music as a like normal person to
Yeah.
now being who you are.
Yeah, I would say obviously like it definitely has changed for sure. It's a little hard to say exactly how, but let's see. I've like tried to explore different areas, try to keep like reinventing myself a little bit, like not like getting stuck in a certain mold too much. So yeah, I think I relied on using granular synthesis a bit as a crutch maybe earlier on, and then I've tried to get beyond that and yeah, work with different sounds and not always have that in the background.
Owen, I'm curious to
Yeah.
know a little bit, following the previous question. When you compose, music solely for dance, no, for a piece or something, you of course have to focus on that. But do you think as a composer also how the audience will perceive this music? or you will focus just on like what's happening on stage?
Yeah, I would say focus mostly on what's going to be happening on stage and what the choreographer is like telling me they need and want. But definitely in the back of my mind, I might be thinking of the audience. So it was in the back of my mind, what is the audience gonna think of this music? Like, will they be offended by it, for example? So yeah, I do have it in the back of my mind, but just wondering how they'll react to it and hoping they'll obviously react well to it. But yeah, it's not my focus.
On this note, maybe like also a little bit more philosophical. Do you consider music to be nice to listen to and not nice to listen to? And where do you find that balance? Like, do you think that every sound is, even though it's very dissonant or almost like ugly sounding, do you still like put value to those sounds? And is there like a hierarchy of sounds that you have? Because I feel like that's something you must consider, or I don't know, is it
Yeah.
something that you just feel?
I know a lot of what I do when I'm composing is very intuitive, I guess. So it is a lot of feeling, like a feeling situation, just feeling it. But I'm open to using dissonant sounds, ugly sounds, where the choreography or show or whatever it is that I'm working on calls for that. Yeah, so it's not something I'm afraid of, but I would say like if I was getting back to writing concert music, I think I would be more going towards the beautiful side of music, I guess. Like I'd probably be like less dissonant or using less of that kind of thing if I was writing music for music. It's music's sake.
I also have a question about what role does technology play in your work? Because you've started with, computer science, and I feel like you have a very close connection to your technology. So
Yeah, I would say it's like vital in a way to a lot of the music I do. Like because I've done so much with granular synthesis, which needs a computer, looping and stuff like that, which back in the days of analog tape, which I was still using when I was at university, by the way. Very hard to do, like to get loops going. It's a lot of work to splice and all that stuff. So I would say it's very important. Being able to layer so many sounds together with the help of the computer and just control it much more than you would have been able to back in the old days of mixing boards and analog tape.
And on the same note, like technology keeps evolving all the time, like literally nowadays, every week, every month, there's something new. How do you keep up with all that? Do you have like your setup that you kind of stick to and that's what you use? Or do you keep exchanging, trying new things and seeing where does it go?
Yeah, I would say like over the years, I've tended to kind of stick with my setup, but upgrading the digital audio workstation so that I'll be getting new like plugins and things like to processors and stuff like that. So yeah, little changes, but I wouldn't say like I could probably be spending more of my time if I had more time, like looking into different programs and things that could potentially give me more creative options. So I would like to do is just explore more of what's out there because it's kind of crazy how much there is to work with sound and music these days with technologies.
It must be very overwhelming also, like to always be like on board. It's a lot. I just wanted to know, when do you know when a track is done? Like, especially when you could keep tweaking like forever. When do you know it's like, okay, I have it?
Usually when the choreographer or director says it's done, that's usually
Okay.
how. But yeah, no, you can definitely keep making adjustments forever. If it's not somebody else telling me, it'll just be like a feeling that this is sounding really good. I'm happy with this. So yeah.
Do you prepare, let's say for Goldberg, like the first aria, the one we call aria Owen, for example, is the first aria.
Yeah.
Did you prepare like few versions, or you had your one and then you were waiting for a feedback eventually?
I think with that one, it's a little hard to remember because it was a while ago now. Yeah, I think that one, there weren't too many different versions. Like, I'm pretty sure I had to make some adjustments as I sent it to Goyo, but I don't think it like drastically changed, or I didn't do like completely different versions of it, which I think I did for some of the other variations. Like I did a couple completely different things. With this one, we kind of had the path of like using the super stretched out piano from the aria and adding on to that.
Owen, I'm curious to know also when you work with choreographers, so when you're composing for dance, how does the exchange work? Like, do you work just with the choreographer and everything happens on remote, or you get in the studio with the dancers and maybe you see a little bit with the choreographer what is he creating, and then you kind of try to find something together? How did it work with different experiences you had?
Sure, yeah. With Goyo, obviously, like it's mostly remote over email, and sometimes he'll send me video of what he's working on, especially if we're like hitting a wall or having some problems. He'll send me a video, but generally it's just like him writing stuff and me responding to what he's writing and like sending music back and forth and yeah, tweaking it from there. But yeah, if I'm working with a choreographer in Vancouver, like Crystal, for example, but other choreographers here, I will definitely come visit the studio when they're rehearsing, and sometimes stay there all day, and even bring my laptop and work in the studio so I can react to what they're doing and like give them updated music more immediately than I would be able to if it was remote. Yeah, so that can be a lot of fun.
That must be so inspiring to be in your presence in the studio as a dancer. Like you really see something building. It's crazy. Because usually, most of the time, it's like a choreographer creates steps on music that is already being made. Or at least it was in my case in my career. Like I always had
Yeah.
the track and we were creating steps on it. And kind of going the other way around must be such a crazy, beautiful like experience.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, totally enjoyable. Yeah. Yeah,
Because
and
you can really see like the piece going like somewhere where maybe no one expected except for the composer. So
yeah, no, it's great to be like there with the dancers, and it's very inspiring for sure. And to see the choreographer like, working in real time on the spot. Yeah, definitely inspiring. I think with Goyo, he like it would be nice to come over and work in the studio, but he does like to have the music. I think he enjoys having the music finished when he starts working, if possible, to some degree anyway.
right.
So yeah,
Yeah, I mean he's super musical and sometimes he would like sing it to us like the music to understand the
yeah.
tempos and stuff because he usually doesn't count in choreography, so he's like, okay guys, listen to this note, like let's aim for this and for that, so I can understand him wanting the music before, like he really knows the music by the time he starts creating. So
Yeah, yeah. I think he likes to work that way best, for sure.
diving a bit more in the collaboration with Goyo, exactly. So you adapted Bach's Goldberg variation for a piece choreographed from Goyo. How did that project begin, really?
How did it begin? He just asked if I was interested in working on it. I think he wanted me to have no boundaries for what I was able to kind of experiment with the variations. So yeah, I tried very different things with the different with as we were working, like some crazy stuff, and yeah, so it was very inspiring and enjoyable process just to kind of have a lot of flexibility with what I was able to how I approached them, I guess. Not everything was successful. So they had to be scrapped and start from scratch. Yeah, and I think I tried a couple of the ones that like we didn't use all the variations either in their original form or in the
Right.
expanded
Yeah.
or changed form. Yeah, but there were a couple that I did attempt and they just got scrapped.
Yeah, when I saw the performance in Hanover, I've noticed some tracks have been manipulated or restructured a little bit. but were there also some where you focus more on texture, on instrumentation, perhaps to create some sort of maybe given from Goyo, us from Goyo, like some sort of like atmosphere or some sort of a narrative behind it? I don't know.
Yeah, I think like for sure he wanted me to like get a little more dark and nightmarish in some cases as it went along. Like variation 15 is where it kind of starts to tip a little bit more into darkness, I guess. And before that, it was like
Right, yeah.
more beautiful, like prettier, more beautiful for the most part, and maybe sticking a little bit closer to the original variations without changing it too much. More reinterpreting, like using different tonal qualities and instruments and sounds to kind of make them different. But yeah, from there it gets a little darker and crazier.
People, come watch the show so you know what Owen is talking about. If you're in Hanover, come watch the show so you can listen to the music and understand what we're talking about, for sure.
Yeah.
What did you learn in the process of adapting a Baroque masterpiece for a modern dance context?
Let's see. Tough question. Um, I guess I wasn't really sure what was going to happen when I started working on it. And I was like a little nervous about it just because it's such a famous piece of music that's been popular for so many centuries. So there was the little anxiety maybe going into it. But yeah, I guess I learned that I'm brave enough to kind of take risks with it and like yeah, change it and make it sound really very different from how originally. Also trying to treat it with respect, but not be afraid to really change it and twist it around, I guess, in places anyway.
Also, a question. Goyo was talking to us about kind of the inspiration behind this piece, and the main inspiration behind the music was the interpretation that Glenn Cloud did, and I feel like this is it's one of his most famous performances,
Hmm.
and there's he hums a lot,
Yes.
and the humming is included in the piece and throughout, and we hear your voice on stage every
Yeah.
show.
Right.
Do you have anything interesting about that? I don't know. I feel it's very interesting. How did that even come to be?
Yeah, I guess like yeah, Goyo sent me both the first interpretation that Glenn Gould did like when he was young without the humming, and then the second one, and he said he definitely leaned towards preferring the second one as inspiration. And yeah, I guess we both commented on how the humming is like a very unusual aspect of that recording. And I think some people like hate it and some people love it. Um, so yeah, we just decided to kind of explore that, and then somehow I ended up like yeah, trying to a little bit sometimes emulate his style of the humming, and then like take it beyond like just being background humming like he did, but like have it a bit more upfront.
Very interesting. Cool.
I just switching now, collaborating, because we mentioned Crystal Pite quite often. Uh, what is your like creative process working with her? Like, does she come to you with a clear music vision? Is it more open-minded? Had it changed within the years? Because I guess there's a different kind of trust also and understanding between you two.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, we've worked for so long together that yeah, sometimes not that much needs to be said, I guess, because I know what she likes and she knows what I can do. Would say over the years, like we've definitely moved more, like a little bit more away from more musical style, into more sound design and more using more and more natural world sounds and more atmosphere. Percussion for
no,
sure, but often percussion that's layered with rock crumbles and things like that. Like that definitely it has changed, like the sort of sonic template that I'm I feel like she wants me to use.
It's nice. I wonder if you have any kind of piece that you have done with Crystal Pite. If you have a favorite one, or like some ones you think they're the best out of your own point of view, you know, as a composer for music, and how they connected very well with the piece and everything.
I would say for how the music and sound work together with the dance, Emergence, the one that won an award for the best show and best sound score and choreography and all that.
Obviously,
That one
yeah.
probably is definitely up there. Show wise, I think one of the most amazing shows I worked on with her and satisfying and kind of crazy and beautiful was Betroffenheit. Also sad, but that show was definitely one of the most memorable shows I worked on with her. And I worked with two
All right.
other sound designer composers on that. It wasn't just my music, but the way it all came together was, and we worked on that show for a very long time, like a year and a half, I think. So we had the luxury of a lot of time in the studio together and a lot of time in Banff. We got like 2 different kind of residencies at the Banff Art Center. So yeah, so that was just like a real trip working on that show. Yeah, so those are those two kind of stand out to me. Dark Matter is also from 2009, I guess. Also, that's another one favorite.
Uh-huh. I was wondering, Owen, do you have some musician, some composer where you take inspiration from to also compose your own music? If you listen to something, or perhaps through more cinematography, if you watch, like, I don't know, for example, a movie or anything else, and you're like, oh, I like this vibe, I like how this sounds, how this connects with the scene, with the music. I
Hmm.
wonder if you have any specific things where you get your inspiration.
I guess just a few names that come to mind are Arvo Part,
Mhm.
Michael Nyman, who's more of a film composer, Steve Reich, who does a lot of looping. I don't know if you know Steve Reich, but
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, I think
lot of drumming,
he's
no?
a lot of
Correct.
drumming, a lot of loops, and very hypnotic kind of sequences. So definitely, he's been an inspiration. With bands,
Right.
I'd say Radiohead and Sigur Rós are 2 bands that
Fantastic. Oh, you have
have.
great taste, Owen.
Uh, thank you.
I like all the ones you just named, all of
Okay,
them.
nice. Yeah, so those are a few inspirations.
I have a question coming. So, because for example, Goldberg variation for us in Hanover is like orchestra, and then there is the electric beat, sample track coming in. So, is it usual that your music is being played by a live orchestra, like during the show?
Yeah, not too common. Like, I guess with Goyo, I think we've done maybe 5 shows that had the incorporated orchestra. Often, like some of the earlier ones, most of them, in fact, I think had like some of my music and some other composer. The first one I think I worked on him had Jean-Philippe Rameau.
It's so interesting because as for us dancers, we like, for example, we're doing stage calls and we had the first rehearsal with the orchestra. We saw that they had a metronome in their ears, the conductor. That was
Yeah,
so. It's such a crazy balance to keep for the show, and it was so amazing to watch. Because sometimes we just go and work and rehearse with the track. So seeing the show coming together, it was a big thing. Also coming from the orchestra, like a big collaboration. It was really like all the departments coming together and finding that fine line. So it was very amazing. Like I've never seen a conductor having a metronome, for example, in his ear throughout the entire show to make sure that when the track is coming in, they're in perfect sync.
think it's that common, I guess. I know it does happen, but with other composers, but it's not too common. Even if I'm writing for the orchestra, I still like to have a little bit of other sound accompanying it. I think there was maybe two tracks in Goldberg where there wasn't really any electronic, but I think he still had the click just because to keep the tempo the same, because that was important for Goyo. But yeah, I don't know
Right.
how much conductors like to have a click track in their ear. But But yeah, but yeah, the show I'm working for at Goyo with for Ballet am Rhein in Dusseldorf, you will have the conductor will have a click track in his ear for the whole thing, and it's going to be interesting to see how that goes because it's more, in a way, more complicated than Goldberg was.
I'm also interested. You've done so many things, but are there any dream collaborations or projects or like dreams that you haven't done yet and that you really want to do? Whether it's working with a choreographer company or even like exploring different genres.
Yeah, I'm sure there's other choreographers out there that I haven't worked with that would be amazing to work with. But genre-wise, I would say I've done a couple TV movies, but I haven't done like a proper feature film. So yeah, one of these days, if an opportunity the right opportunity came along, that would be great. I mean, an opera would be interesting, but also a little intimidating. So yeah, I don't know if I had the skill set for that.
Owen, if you would give an advice to a young composer or someone who wants to get into writing for dance, what it would be your, let's say, advice or your words for this person?
I would just say you have to, love doing music for sure. Like if you don't love doing it, then it's going to be, could be a very hard path. And also just to kind of stick to it no matter how slow things are as far as getting work with choreographers. If you are having trouble, try and reach out to choreographers, obviously. Stick to it and just keep going because, it can be a challenging path, I think. But I do know like somebody like I met with a while ago is now like he was a dancer for I think the Alberta Ballet, and he's now like pretty successful as a composer for dance.
Yeah, no, I was just wondering related to this, how much do you think that like a classical music education is, important and valuable? And like nowadays when you can just work with a software on your computer, kind of just play around with the music, see what sounds good, what feels good. Yeah, what is your opinion on that?
I think obviously it's not essential because plenty of choreographers would rather have a more modern and more electronic approach. But yes, if you do have a bit of a classical education background, it will open up more options for your composition. But I don't think it's like critical or anything like that. But nice to have, I would say.
And Owen, we're curious to know also for our listeners, what is next for you? What are the upcoming projects, if you can talk about them? What are the ones you're particularly excited about?
The most imminent one is the one I was talking about earlier for Ballet am Rhein. It's going to be called Aurea, with Goyo choreographing. So I'm excited about that. A little nervous about it because I have a feeling getting the balance between the orchestra and the recorded element is going to be a little challenging. And I think, as usual, the rehearsal time is somewhat limited in the theater. And also, like, I originally created that music not to be performed for orchestra. Like, it was originally supposed to happen in Moscow in 2020, but didn't happen because of COVID and then the
All
war.
right.
And so originally wasn't intended to be for orchestra. So I've had to kind of, over the last 3 or 4 months, rework it and reimagine it a little bit. And then I'm also doing another show for Goyo for company in Argentina in Buenos Aires, which I'm excited about, partly just because I've never been to South America. So, and it sounds like they'll have the budget to bring me out leading up to the premiere. So that's very exciting for me. Different show, and I'll be like kind of working with a very famous songwriter composer from Buenos Aires. So that'll we'll be collaborating a bit and looking forward to see how that kind of relationship will work alongside Goyo. And I think the other show on the horizon is with Crystal, like for her own company, Kid Pivot. The next show they do, I believe she's asked well, she said that she wants me to be involved in that. So it's still a little ways down the road. I think not premiering until 2028. So it's a ways off still, but we'll start working on it before that.
Amazing. Such a busy schedule and so inspiring. I wish I could watch all of these shows, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, we wish you all the best, yeah, for all these upcoming shows and all the other collaborations.
Thank you
I'm
for your time,
sure.
Owen.
Thank you
you're
for your
welcome.
time, for being here with us.
My pleasure. Yeah, thank you. And hopefully I'll be working on another show in Hanover sometime and see you there if you're still all dancing with the company when that happens.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Owen. Have a great
Okay.
day, I guess, for you if you're in Vancouver right now.
Yes,
Right.
yes. It's still kind of
Yeah.
late morning, so I still have
Right.
had the day
Yeah.
ahead of me. But guten Abend to you, and
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank
Thank you, Owen.
All
It
the
was a
best and
pleasure.
hopefully see you soon.
Okay, thanks so much.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of Kunst and All Staatsballet Hanover. Make sure to like and subscribe to our channel. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. And you can also find all featured episodes on the Staatsoper Hanover website. Don't forget to follow Staatsballet Hanover on Instagram, as well as Kunst and All for more updates and behind-the-scene content. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so feel free to reach out and share your feedback. We are Lorenzo, Nastasia, Francesco, and Martin. Thanks again for joining us. Until next time, stay kunstig!